So cell structures. So a structure inside a cell is called an organelle. Okay. One, we have the cell membrane. So this is a controlled gateway, and it surrounds and protects the contents inside the cell. So it looks like a thin line that surrounds the cell. You compare that to a cell wall, which is kind of like a frame. They are much thicker and more rigid than membranes, providing a support for plants and fungi. So the rigid frame-like covering that surrounds the cell membrane. You look at a cytoplasm. Its characteristics kind of like the kitchen. It distributes the material to different parts of the cell. It is the liquid inside of the cell, which has a grainy looking bits in it. Okay? The nucleus is like the command center. It controls all of the cell's activities. It is a fairly large, dark, spherical structure that is usually near the center of the cell. Inside of it, right, it has the nucleolus, which is the darker center. We have vacuoles, which are like storage rooms. It is a membrane-bound sac acting like a storage space for surplus food, waste, and other substances that the cell is unable to use immediately. So there are clear, liquid-filled spaces in various places within the cytoplasm. Chloroplasts are like solar panels. They are the structures in which photosynthesis takes place. So they tend to be greenish structures that are found only in a plant. Where mitochondria is like the powerhouse. They are chemical reactions that occur that convert energy into usable forms. So they're small, kind of bean-like structures, or yeah, you guys call them like beans, with tiny stringy bits inside. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about again, where you know the name, you know the definition, and you know what it looks like in like you can describe what it looks like without actually having to see the picture. Okay? So cell processes. A cell membrane allows some substances to enter or leave the cell while stopping others. It is selectively permeable. So a permeable membrane allows all materials through, while an impermeable membrane does not allow anything through. So this selective permeability, it only allows certain things through. Okay? Diffusion. So we should know this again from our saltwater unit. So the structure of a cell membrane controls what moves in or out of the cell, and particles moving in all directions, bumping into each other, eventually spread out evenly throughout the cell. Okay, so this is the process of diffusion. Diffusion plays a part in moving substances into and out of the cell. Where we look at concentration, concentration determines the direction of a substance takes throughout the cell membrane. Particles move from higher concentration areas into lower concentration areas. So equal concentration allows the movement of particles in and out equally, whereas higher concentration of particles on the inside of a cell will move to an area of lower concentration outside of the cell. So the movement will only occur from inside to outside until there is a balance. Okay? So diffusion of water through a selectively permeable membrane is called osmosis. So water helps to dissolve many substances involved in cell processes. When water is lost, so it moves out of the cell, it leaves behind a high concentration of the dissolved substances. But when water moves back into the cell, the substances become more diluted and can be used by the cell for its life functions. So this idea is that you have this nice hypotonic medium, okay? We're going to look at the movement of fluids in plants in our next video.